Thanks for tuning in to S&M Radio, everybody. This is Shannon joining me once again. This episode is the one, the only, the other half of the dynamic duo, my buddy Mark.
Hello there.
So this episode, I was kind of hoping would be a little bit more of going back to the Siskel and Ebert days, like we had talked about a couple episodes, to where I was really hoping when we decided to do this movie that we would get two complete opposite views of this movie, and I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I think we both are. We're pretty much, in middle of the road, kind of? Just sort of like, whatever.
Right.
Oh, well.
This episode, we are talking about the Babadook, or the Babadook, however you want to say it. In the movie, they pronounce it the Babadook.
Yeah, but they're all English, aren't they?
Australian.
Ah, okay. Well, that might explain it then.
The Babadook is a 2014 Australian psychological thriller horror movie. And with this one, I was really excited the very first time I saw this movie a couple of months ago, because everybody that I follow, like on Instagram and a couple of horror movie fan pages that I follow on Facebook, everybody kept talking about this movie, how great it was when it was shown last year, I believe, at Sundance, and it got all this critical acclaim there, and everybody's like, oh my God, it's so great, it's so great. And so then I watched it, and I was kind of let down.
Yeah, I was too. I actually was really looking forward to this movie too. I'm always looking forward to like something new and fresh when it comes to horror movies, and something that's some of my favorite horror movies, but so very few times does that happen. And yeah, this one excited me, the paranormal stuff and the whole idea of like this, boogeyman kind of character.
Let's go ahead and start with that. Let's go ahead and start with the few positives, I guess, of the movie. The storyline, I thought, for this movie was, for the most part, really original. Of course, the whole possessed theme has been done multiple times, but the initial actual meat to the story for this movie I thought was really unique. For those of you that are not aware of what the Babadook is about, it basically surrounds a single mother and her, I don't know, he's like 6 or 7 years old, shithead of a son, Samuel, and like every good mother, she reads Samuel a story before bedtime, and he gives her this pop-up book to read, and it's the Babadook. And
yeah,
they don't know where she doesn't know where the book came from, and then it turns out it's like a horror story, if you will. And then all this bad shit starts to happen. The book essentially possesses really their life, really. This supernatural creature comes from the book. There was a lot of potential with that, but then it kind of petered out pretty quick and didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, it did. It kind of reminded me of The Conjuring, which came out like maybe 1 or 2 years before this. And that was another one of those movies where I was like really, really excited to see it. It seemed like, it had a lot of buzz, and it was going to be a real good new fresh take on horror and all that stuff. And then to me, like, this movie and The Conjuring kind of fall into that same trap where they have a really, really good idea, and then they end up turning it into something that we've seen a million times over and over again. And like I can't watch another possession movie. I just can't do it. It's just like, it's just been done too much. It's like, I hate to keep bringing up The Conjuring, but that movie, the first like half of it was really interesting, really creepy, supernatural stuff, and some really good imagery like the doll and all that. And then all of a sudden it turns into a possession movie. And the exact same thing with this one. Like, it had some really some great concepts. I love the story, like about the idea of a book and the character coming out of the book and like haunting them and all that. But then it becomes a possession movie, and it's like just the mom's possessed and she's attacking the kid, and it's like the same thing we've seen before. And it just, to me, that wasn't scary. I don't know, maybe I'm not as scared of that, but like it was boring to me.
I would agree 100%. I really, really wanted to like the movie when I started it. And like you had said, with that, once the mom became the one that was possessed, I was like, fuck off. Are you serious? Come on.
The one scene that I did like about towards the end of the movie was, I thought it was pretty creepy, was when the entity or whatever it was kind of like appears in the darkness and it like expands its wings or its arms or whatever that was. I thought that scene was pretty effective. And I thought the book was pretty cool. And I liked how they kind of animated the creature or the entity when he's like jumping around on the ceiling and all that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it did have that aspect of it where the, whatever you want to call it, Mr. Babadook, when he was actually on screen, whether it was the animations in the book or when he was around, like when he crawls across the ceiling or whatever and stuff. And it's kind of like that, like crossed animation between real life and animation kind of. It's kind of cool. And then there's the, like when she sees him when she's in the police station and he's like, the hat and the coat and stuff is hanging on the coat rack behind the cops, and she sees that. All that stuff
cool.
that's kind of cool.
That was cool.
But really, that's about as cool as it got, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. And the acting was good. I can't say the acting was bad. I mean, I thought even though the kid was annoying, I mean, he did a good job as playing a creepy little kid who's kind of being messed around with some sort of supernatural force. I thought the mom's acting was really good. Like all her, I like, the thing with the friends, like where she would go to the friend's house and the kid would like kind of make a scene or hurt somebody. I thought all that was well done. Like, I thought just in terms of acting and the way it was written, I thought that was good. That actually kind of reminded me of The Sixth Sense. Like, when in that movie, when the mom took the kid out to the birthday party and he gets locked in that room. So I thought a lot of that stuff was kind of good. It was like, as soon as it got into the possession stuff, it just kind of lost me.
The one thing with Samuel throughout the whole movie, or throughout most of the movie, was he kept doing like whining and screaming and stuff, and it just made you hate him. And
yeah.
I'm pretty sure if I ever meet that kid in person, I just might punch him in the face.
Yeah, he was definitely pretty annoying. He also had that like malnourished look. He had like, I don't know, like the dark circles under his eyes, and he looked like a kid that, and I gotta say he did pretty good for what, and he seemed really creepy. And the two of them, how they kind of interacted, like when whatever Australia's version of DCFS was that came in and
the social services or whatever.
So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I think this movie was one of those movies where it had potential. It just didn't fully get the right execution.
There was so much stuff with this movie that, like I said, that I was like, just throws you off. We've said it before on this show. Foreign horror, for the most part, usually is really great.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And not all the time, but a lot of times when there's a really good horror movie that's foreign, it ends up getting remade in the U.S. This movie, I almost wonder if it does get remade in the U.S., if it won't be better.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wonder if it would be. Well, they'd have to change some stuff. I mean, they have to get rid of, I don't know, like the possession stuff, like I said earlier. I just don't. I hope they would go a different route with it. You know what this movie is like? I don't know if this was based on this, but the main reason why I was excited about this movie is one of the things I'm like, kind of like one of my like independent research type things I do is I'm really into weird like phenomenon and paranormal stuff. And there's a paranormal entity that people claim to have seen called the Hat Man, and it's basically like a dark shadow with a top hat on. And there's people all around the globe that have seen this thing. And that's what I actually thought that this movie was going to be about, that particular character. And when I watched it, I was hoping that would be it. But yeah, it kind of it seems like they may have taken some things from it, like the image, with the hat and all that, but it turned out not to really focus on that as much. It seemed like it was kind of a different thing.
Yeah, goddamn possession movies. When they're done right, they're good. This one, though, unfortunately, I have to. There is one thing, though, that when you were just talking there, that I do have to disagree with, because one of the things that I really felt throughout most of this movie was, if there would have been good acting during the movie, it probably would have been better.
Oh, so you didn't like the acting?
No, not really. Not at all.
Okay. You didn't like the main woman?
I can't say that I really did. I thought that she kind of overdid some of the scenes. There was a few things where it was like, oh, okay. But like the kid, though, I mean, the kid was kind of, I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe, though, with the kid, because he's a kid. So it's one of those things, though, where it just seemed like some of the scenes where he was overdoing it a little bit, but then there was other scenes too where he did a really good job. Like there was the one scene where like they're in the car and he's in the back seat and he like freaks out and stiffens all up and comatose and like that. Like, okay, so that was a good one, but yeah, for the most part, I didn't think the acting was very good.
I thought the kid did good. I just didn't he wasn't like somebody you'd want to watch, though. I guess like it's like I thought he was effective, but like I didn't like him. I think that might be part of like the problem too, is like he just wasn't a very likable. He was too weird or something. I don't know. Yeah. I thought the mom did good, though. I thought for the most part, I thought she did a good, as in terms of acting and just how, portraying the character. I thought she did all right. I wasn't like, I was pretty believing that, what she was portraying on the screen.
But I also too thought that there was some elements in the movie that didn't necessarily need to be there, or they didn't add anything to the movie. For example, one of them, like you were talking about, social workers come to the house, but then they didn't really ever come back or really do anything. I mean, they came back at the end and they're like, oh yeah, everything's great. But
yeah, that's right.
But it didn't make any sense. To the story, didn't add anything to the story. If they weren't there, it wouldn't have taken anything away from the story. The old lady that lived next door to them, again, if she wouldn't have been part of the story, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it had a lot of good like things that could have done something with the story, and they didn't. Like the old lady, she was kind of useless. Nothing ever came of her really. And yeah, the social workers, it kind of was like they just threw things in there, but ultimately nothing, none of those aspects of the story were really that interesting or really carried into something else,
Right. Yeah. The only thing that was in the movie that did add a little bit of something to the movie was this mom character, Amelia. She has that sister, and like you had said earlier, there's the one scene where they're at a birthday party, and she kind of freaks out. And that kind of stuff added a little bit to the story, but for the most part, what I would really, really like to have seen is it just focus on the two characters and Mr. Babadook, and everything be contained within the house, and them going through this struggle within the house. And then I think it would have been more effective.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Because there was not only the couple of components to the movie that didn't really do anything for the movie, like the old lady next door and the social workers, but like, for example, there was the one scene where the mom was laying in bed masturbating.
Oh yeah. And the kid walks in.
And the kid barges in.
I forgot about that part. How did I forget about that part?
Why did she have to be masturbating? And it didn't make any sense, because here's this mother who's distraught and semi-depressed. I'm pretty sure she's not going to go try to rub one out when she goes to bed at night. Maybe I could be wrong, but
I forget. Well, we did forget to mention about the father, how one of the main plot points of the story was that he died driving the mom to the hospital to give birth to the son.
Correct.
She actually has like kind of a, well, now would you say like before she's possessed, she doesn't really have any animosity for the son. It's not till she's like being influenced by the dark side, right?
I would say that's correct. Yeah.
This seems like, yeah, because they kind of hint at, like, she's kind of giving them guilt trips, like, it should have been you that died, and I'd give you if I could get my husband back, I'd send you away or whatever.
So of the main characters, really, of the story, the mom and Samuel, both of those guys, I didn't really like any of those. The Babadook, I sort of enjoyed that character when it was around. Oh, that's the other thing, too, with that. So, I mean, kind of jumping around, and spoiler alert, I mean, we're going to pretty much give the whole thing away. The end of the story basically comes to be to where she just stands up for herself and says, get the hell out. And the Babadook backs off, and then for some odd reason, they keep this character or this creature chained to the wall in the basement.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about and they feed it like worms. Was it worms are feeding it?
Yeah, something like that. And then there's no explanation as to what it was or where it came from or what this book was, what it's doing. Why is it in the basement? Is it some sort of weird thing where maybe it was like the soul of the father, or you don't get any of that. And that's one of the things with a lot of these possession type movies or supernatural movies, is usually there's a character in the movie that like goes to the library and says, hey, do you have a book about where the Babadook books come from? And oh yeah, it's in the that's over in the reference section. And then there's always that scene where, oh, where'd you get that book from? Oh, I got it at the library. Where the hell do you think I got it from?
Yeah.
But none of that happened. Right. Sorry, all of you people that love this movie, because this episode is not going to be a very popular one, I don't think.
I don't think so, yeah. So there were a lot of people that like this?
Oh, there's tons of people that love this movie.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of those things where and if you actually look and do a little bit of digging on it, but there's the AACTA Awards where it won Best Film. It was nominated for Best Horror at the Empire Awards, and it won there.
Oh, wow.
And then it's nominated for Best Horror Film at the Saturn Awards, and I don't think that's that hasn't come to be yet. But then that lady who played Amelia, Essie Davis, I think her name is, she's like nominated for Best Actress at a bunch of these awards as well. All right, so next episode, I think we're going to have one that we both agree on. So cool. Next episode is going to be all about werewolf wieners.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Wolf Cop.
Awesome.